Hello, Palmer Academy, and welcome to today's assembly. I hope everyone is really happy because everyone is now back in school and it's fantastic. I can't wait to teach you in your PE lessons, but let's get on with today's assembly. So let me just share my screen. Please. So today's assembly is on International Women's Day, which is on the 8th of March, which is today. Okay, so girls and women and boys and men are not always treated the same. In many countries in the past and even today, women are treated worse than men. And although the lives of many women have got better, International Women's Day is a day for action and change to create a balanced world for everyone, regardless of their gender. So International Women's Day is held annually on the 8th of March. So that means every year on the 8th of March, we have International Women's Day. So we remember those who have done or are doing incredible things to make life better for women today. And some women, because some women still need to fight for their opinions, to be heard, or to do what they want to do with their lives. So the theme for 2021 is choose to challenge. What do you think that means? What do you think choose to challenge means? Okay, and then a challenge world is an alert world. Okay, what do you think that means? So in the past, women were not always allowed to choose to get married or not, to have a job or to be paid fairly for it, to vote in elections, to go to school or university, choose not to have children, to make important decisions about their lives or family. How would you feel if you were not able to do any of those things? It's really unfair. In some countries, they still have some of these rules. In the past, boys were seen as more valued than girls. In some cultures, thought that girls were not as smart as boys. Many women were expected to get married at a young age and start a family. Women were not able to work in certain jobs because they were seen as men's jobs. So what has changed? Many people have worked or are still working to make things better for women across the world. So for example, during the Victorian era, suffragettes campaigned for women to have the right to vote in elections. As a result, in the UK in 1928, all women over the age of 21 were finally allowed to have a say in who governed their country. And I know 1928 seems like a long time ago, but it's still like in some countries, women are not allowed to vote. We're very lucky in this country that women are allowed to vote. So again, what has changed? So women can vote in elections, women work in every kind of job, and women have the right to be educated, and women have the right to make their own decisions about their lives and family. So roles. So another aim of International Women's Day is for everyone, especially girls though, to be encouraged to pursue their dreams and ambitions. So what do you want to be when you're older? What do you want to be when you're older? You see there's quite a lot of pictures there that show you different jobs. So I think that one's a teacher, maybe it's a dancer or a gymnast, or I think that lady works be a receptionist, or maybe in the airport. There's a scientist there, and I think it's a policewoman. But remember, it's just as important for boys to be the best they can be too. So achievements. So what do you know about these famous women? Do you recognize any of these famous women? Do teachers recognize any of these famous women or LSAs? So let's start with the one at the top. So that is Queen Elizabeth I. And she was the Queen of England from 1558 to 1653. And she is considered to be one of England's greatest monarchs. And next, who's this? Oh, I've given you the answer. It's Florence Nightingale. And she was the founder of modern nursing. And she helped change the way patients are cared for in hospitals. And this one, she's an American. So her name is Amelia Earhart. And she's an American aviation pioneer and author. And she was the first female pilot to fly solo, that means on your own, across the Atlantic Ocean. Wow. So we go down to here. So this is Jane Austen. And she wrote books in a time when people thought it wasn't right for women to work. So Mary Curie is the next one. She did groundbreaking research on radioactivity that led to a treatment of many illnesses. And the last one. So this is Amelia Pankhurst. And she was a suffragette and campaigned for the right for women to vote. And did you know, all these women had to fight against injustice and work hard because they had ambitions to take up roles that were uncommon for women in their societies in which they lived in. We remember such women and their achievements on International Women's Day. And just because, yes, I'm the PE teacher, so I wanted to include some famous sports stars. So who can tell me who this one up here is? And that's a really small picture. So that is Nicola Adams. Okay, she was the first female boxer to become an Olympic champion at 2 Olympics, London 2012 and Rio 2016. Oh, sorry, I've given the answer. Who's this lady down here? So this is Jessica Ennis-Hill, and she's a heptathlete. Heptathlete means that you do 6 events. Oh, 6 events. And she is a gold medalist at the 2012 Olympics, and she's a 3-time world champion. I think it's this one. I'm not sure. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's Serena Williams. So she is still competing today. She is an American tennis player, and she's won 23 single Grand Slams, 14 double Grand Slams, and 4 gold medals. So just a few. So we're looking at these two now. So Hannah Cockcroft, the lady in the wheelchair, she's a wheelchair racer, okay, and she holds 4 world records and has won 5 gold medals. And the last one over here, multi-talented lady, her name is Sarah Stoney. Okay, she was a Paralympic cyclist and she was a Paralympic swimmer. She has 14 gold medals in cycling and swimming and 29 world championship medals, gold ones in cycling and swimming. So what can we do now? How can we make a balanced world? Here are some questions for you to think about. So does it matter if toys say for boys or for girls? What do you think? Does it matter if toys say for boys or for girls? So when we answer these questions, your teachers may want to pause it and then talk about these questions. Okay, next one. So does it matter if girls like football or boys like unicorns? What do you think? I quite like unicorns. I do like football as well, but I've got nothing wrong with unicorns. So what do you think? Does it matter if girls like football or boys like unicorns? Is it okay for boys to cry when they're sad? What do you think? Is it okay for boys to cry when they're sad? And last one, is it okay for girls to carry chairs or books around school? Is it okay? What do you think? So finally, all of us can work together to create a world where everyone is equal. So today we are celebrating women's achievements and we challenge unfairness and equality. Okay. Next, there'll be like a short video for you to look at, just giving you some more information about International Women's Day. Okay, hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you soon for your next assembly. Have a great day and have a great week. Bye-bye.
Every year on the 8th of March, International Women's Day is celebrated across the globe. It's a day to recognise female achievement and a call to action, encouraging everyone to stand up for women's rights and gender equality. Gender equality means no matter your gender, you're granted the same rights, privileges and access to opportunities as everyone else. You may be thinking, why is this day so important? Throughout history, women have had to fight for the freedom and rights we enjoy today. 150 years ago, women couldn't vote, stand in parliament, receive proper medical attention, own property, access fair legal support, get paid the same as men, visit the same public areas as men, get a proper education. The list goes on. 150 years ago, people lived in a very different world to what we know now. So how did things change? Someone didn't snap their fingers and then bam, women had all the rights. Change occurred gradually through the tireless efforts of brave women and men fighting together for what is right. Let's rewind. In the late 19th century, the fight for women's suffrage began gaining momentum. Suffrage means the right to vote, and at this time, only men could do so. This meant that all the political decisions were decided by men, including those that only affected women. As time passed, some women grew increasingly frustrated by the lack of progress and failed attempts to achieve suffrage. One of these women was Emmeline Pankhurst, who responded by forming the Women's Social and Political Union in 1903, which encouraged a stronger kind of activism. This led to years of protests, rallies and strikes, with women being arrested, jailed, injured, and some even losing their lives in the fight for suffrage. When the First World War was declared in 1914, suffragettes shifted their campaign to encourage women's involvement in the war effort. The devastation of war brought the nation together in support of one another, and attitudes began to change. Women took on responsibilities and jobs that they were previously excluded from, like working as mechanics and drivers. In 1918, the Representation of the People Bill was passed, giving women the right to vote. However, it was only some women of a certain age and circumstance. It wasn't until 1928 that all women over 21 were finally allowed to vote. The right to vote is instrumental in creating a society that is fair and just. Imagine if all the UK were one gigantic football team. Half of the team can play exactly as they are, while the other is blindfolded. The team probably isn't going to do so great. The same goes for a society. If everyone has the same rights and freedoms, a society can grow and develop in a way that benefits everyone. Once women were able to vote, the ball began rolling on other rights, like political representation, access to greater opportunities, fairer pay, and working rights. As you can see, change takes time. It wasn't until 1979 that Britain had its first female Prime Minister, which was 76 years after Emmeline Pankhurst first established the Women's Social and Political Union. So what does gender equality look like today? We are fortunate to live in a time and place where incredible opportunities are in abundance. Everyone can get an education, access healthcare, get a job, and speak their minds. However, we still have some work to do before we reach equality for all. One way that gender inequality plays out in our everyday life is through stereotypes. A stereotype is a generalized opinion of a person or group of people. Ever heard someone say something like, "You throw like a girl," or "Boys don't cry"? These kinds of phrases exist because of centuries of restrictive ideas about gender that really aren't true or fair. People are way too unique and complex to fit neatly in a box. Girls and boys can be athletic, fast and strong. And of course, everyone cries. It's normal and healthy to express your feelings and to be vulnerable. Stereotypes can be really damaging and can prevent you from being yourself and reaching your potential. Today, women are still the minority in Parliament, leadership roles and career fields like science and engineering, as well as making less money than men on average. So, this International Women's Day, think about what you could do to help in the fight for equality. Everyone benefits when we are all treated equally.